One of the biggest questions people often have when they're getting ready to walk the Camino de Santiago is, what do I bring? So today we are going to go through our packs and show you our stuff of exactly what we decided to take with us. Now at the end of the video, we'll kind of give you a little bit more commentary on why we brought certain things or didn't bring some things. But we're just going to kind of dive in and show you what we brought.
Let's start with clothes.
Okay, so we are doing some laundry right now, so we're not going to show you everything that we brought. But let's see, what did we bring? We bought 2 pairs of socks each. I like the Darn Tough brand of socks. We're 3 days in when we're filming this, so things are a little bit more disorganized, but they're holding up good. I've used them before on other long hikes. I really like them. I like the ones that come up to my ankle. They just kind of help keep out when you're walking in the rocks and stuff, so little rocks don't kind of get up and get into your socks. So that's what I'm bringing, the merino wool. A lot of this stuff, if I can put a link to it on Amazon, I will do that. So I'll put those links in the description down below the video. So if you're curious about anything, you can click on that and take a look at it.
We also brought 2 pairs of underwear each.
Yes?
2 shirts each.
Yes. Now the shirts that we brought, we have a couple different brands, but basically they're these really, really lightweight, quick drying shirts. Because basically what we're doing is we're walking up during the day, we get to our albergue, like around 3 o'clock, and then we wash what we're wearing and change into the next day's outfit. So you want to have stuff that's going to dry really well. I suspect as we get farther along in this hike, it's going to heat up and things are going to dry faster. But like that first day in Roncesvalles up in the Pyrenees, we did
have to pin a few things to our backpack so it could dry on
Yes,
the walk.
we were those people walking down the trail with our underwear pinned to our backpacks so that they could dry because they just didn't dry in time otherwise. So just one thing to think about, the lightest weight you can bring is better. We also each have 2 pairs of shorts that are, again, one of my shorts is a swimsuit. Basically, it's got the liner in it, so I don't have to wear extra underwear with that. And it is quick drying, so that'll dry fast. And then the other pair I have is just some little like synthetic, almost running shorts, easy to wash and dry.
Yes.
Yes. Clothes-wise, do we have any other clothes?
Shoes. We both have a...
Let me just say, not that it matters, but I did bring a pair of long pants just in case we had an evening where things got cooler and I wanted to wear a pair of pants out to dinner. I haven't worn them yet, which probably tells me I didn't need to bring them, but we'll see how that works out.
Yes. Okay,
shoes.
So we both brought a pair of good walking shoes. We don't have those with us because they're in the shoe room downstairs.
Yes. So I have the Altra Lone Peak 8s. They're the new ones that are out this year. I really like these shoes. I've used them before. They're trail runners. I used them when we hiked the Grand Canyon rim to rim our second time, and I didn't get any blisters on that hike. I'm very prone to blisters. So to me, those shoes are really terrific. They have a really wide toe box, which is important. Now, a lot of just regular walking, running shoes, they're kind of pointed at the front, which is very aesthetic, apparently, but it's not really the way your foot is shaped. I really want to make sure that I have that really wide toe box so your toes have room to spread out so that you don't get blisters. The shoes are they're trail runners, so they're very comfortable. I really like them a lot. Do you know what shoes you got? You were a little less.
I do not.
picky.
They were a European brand.
Yeah.
So they weren't one I was familiar with.
David had shoes he was going to wear, and then they kind of got beat up as we were on our trip. So he just bought a new pair at a decathlon in Paris. So I'm not sure what the brand is either, but are they holding up so far though?
So far, and I haven't gotten blisters or any pain, and they've been comfortable. So
perfect. Again, we'll do another video at the end of our hike and we'll go through everything and then we'll talk about, what things worked, what didn't work, what we wish we would have done differently. And so we'll be able to give you a better review at the end of the hike.
We also each brought a pair of Tevas so that our feet can breathe a bit when we're not hiking, or if we need to switch shoes while we're hiking, these will work for hiking also.
Also, when you check into the albergues, they don't allow your hiking shoes into the building. So there's going to be a room right at the front. They make you take your shoes off. So it's good to have a second pair of shoes so that you can, wear around, or that you might want to wear out to dinner.
Also, we brought flip-flops. We brought one pair that we are sharing.
We'll see how that goes.
And so far it's working out fine, but these were super cheap ones.
Yeah, they're just cheap little flip-flops that we can wear into the shower.
Any more clothing here? Things that we use, bandanas and hats.
Okay, so I know if you've been watching our videos, you've already seen us wearing these, and I know it looks ridiculous.
Well, we do this,
but it is the best thing ever.
And we put the
Here's
hat
my
on.
hat.
Boop. And then it keeps the back of our neck out of the sun and our ears out of the sun. And also when it's cold, it keeps the wind from blowing on your ears. So
yeah, that was good yesterday.
Yeah. These we find very useful.
So this is very important, and I do want to take a minute to talk about sun protection, because you're just walking outside for 8 hours.
We are seeing a lot of red people.
A lot of really bad sunburns that we're seeing, because everybody's in their little tank tops and they're super cute,
their arms
and they're just totally sunburned. So we're in our 50s. I'm a little more conscious about protecting my skin from skin cancer, and I don't like slathering my whole body in sunscreen multiple times during a day. It's just greasy. I don't like the feel of it. So there's several things we did to help protect ourselves from the sun. This is one. I've seen this on a couple of other videos. I think the roaming Roundtrees did this the first time is when I saw it. I was like, that is a great idea. So I totally stole it from them.
Great for us.
Thank you. This has been working really well, so I just don't have to put all that sunscreen on my neck. Another thing that we've used are these sleeves.
There.
I never thought I would wear something like this.
Easy to put on.
I am not someone who likes wearing long sleeve t-shirts. You could just get a long sleeve t-shirt and this would do the same. But what I really like about wearing these is that if we start hiking in the morning before the sun's up, I don't have to put them on yet. So I can get a little ways with just my arms being bare. But then as soon as that sun comes out, we're putting these on just so, again, I'm not putting all that sunscreen on my arms.
And we were worried about these being too hot because we're out in the sun all day, and actually they're kind of cooling.
Yeah.
When the breeze blows by it feels cool on your skin.
Now the other thing, just as a note, we have noticed I got sunburned on my the back of my hand here because it was exposed the first day and a half. So I've started pulling those sleeves down a little bit farther, just to kind of help with that. But that's one thing to notice. And we did get those on Amazon, so I can link to those.
And we do always have sunscreen that we do use.
Yes. So this is the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer. This is my favorite sunscreen of all time. It just doesn't go on super greasy. It's a little bit pricey. It's especially pricey though outside of the United States. So if you want to bring some of this with you, this is what we're using for the, like my hands and those places where we're not covered up. And then there's this. So this we got turned on to by another YouTube channel. Days We Spend recommended this. And this has been really great. So this is the All Good. It's a tinted mineral sunscreen butter, they call it. And so it's got that zinc in it. And because it's zinc, that tends to be really white. So they've actually tinted it a little bit. It seems a little bit weird the first time you're putting it on. I was like, is this makeup? It's kind of weird. But we just put it on our faces in through here. It blends fine. I don't think it looks funny. No. And it's just been helping, making sure we've got something on our faces. It comes in this teeny tiny little tin. And I think this is probably going to last us the whole way. We're not really using that much, but it works really well.
Okay. Another thing we have clothing-wise are sweatshirts. We both brought a sweatshirt. And even though we're hitting summer here, it has been useful in the mornings. Also, I find this is really useful when I tie it around my waist. It sits right where my backpack straps, and it gives me a little cushion there. So even when I'm not using it to stay warm, it's been very useful with the backpack.
Yeah, I've been surprised how many hours in the morning I'm just wearing the sweatshirt because it's in the 50s usually when we start walking. So having that sweatshirt is really nice. Yeah.
Should we talk about the backpack?
Let's talk about the backpack.
We haven't even talked about the backpack yet.
So when we first started our long-term travels, we got some really nice Osprey 70-liter bags. They were good bags. They didn't have quite as much pockets as I wanted, but we really liked them. But when we downsized and wanted to move to carry-on only, we decided we wanted, rather than buying a really nice bag that we weren't sure we were gonna keep like we did the first time, we decided just to get some bags on Amazon that were the size we wanted and see how they worked. So this is it's the Nevo Rhino brand. They're 45-liter bags, and they've been pretty good. They're not, I mean, they're pretty cheap. I can't remember how much we spent. I mean, I think this was like $45. I'll link to it below. It's not an expensive bag. And so like the zippers on this are not as nice as the Osprey bags were. I'm a little bit more timid, but we have been using these now since, when did we start using these? A year ago.
Yeah, and they're fun.
And so we haven't had any issues with them. So if you want just a lightweight, cheaper bag, this has been a good alternative for us.
It has a big main section. It has a secondary section in the front
That opens up with a couple of smaller pockets in it.
And then these two little pockets in the front where we can carry little things, paperwork and stuff like that.
I like pockets. It just gives me a place where I know certain things go, so I always like those.
We can fit our water bottle and sandals. That's what I do with my side pockets. And then it has pockets in the hip strap, where I put my phone on one side and cash on the other side. What else is good? Oh, there's, it's easy to put the poles on. I attach the poles through the loop and the bottom loop. So it's been very functional and easy to use.
The bag itself isn't too heavy, so I've got a new bag now because I wanted something a little bit different for our ongoing travel. So this is kind of the swan song for my bag, but so far I think this has been a pretty good bag to use the Camino if you don't already have something nicer that you'd rather have.
And I'm going to keep using this one as we continue to travel. Now, I want to talk about this.
Okay, let's move on to one of the more potentially controversial, but seems to be really working out. So we have this here. It's already put together. So this is from a company called Vaucluse, if I'm saying it correctly. This is not a sponsored product. We bought it with our own money and just wanted to try it out. We saw an ad on Facebook, and it's just a little plastic spacer that goes between the backpack and your back to give you some added ventilation so that you don't get super sweaty. We are anticipating this hike is going to be very hot, and I didn't want the bag itself to get saturated in sweat and hot and stinky and all that kind of stuff. We bought 2 of them, so I think it was like $60 for the pair. And I have to say, these are working out better than I even thought they were going to. It's funny, every time we get to a new hostel, an albergue, if the people notice it, they're like, what is that? Like, they've seen so many people go through and you don't see people using these yet, but I'm finding it really works.
It works when we get to the end of our destination. Our shoulders may be sweaty because of the straps, but our backs are not. And you can feel it feels cooler on your back when you're walking.
And we're not even in the hot weather yet. Once we get down into the Meseta and it's really hot, I think I'm really going to be happy we got this. And again, we'll do a full review at the end of our hike, so we'll let you know exactly. But this is something I am very cautiously excited that we brought. I think it's going to be really helpful.
Yeah. If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe because we have a whole series of Camino videos coming up. We are going day by day through our journey, letting you know about the trails, and also we're going to tell you all of the little tips that we find out along the way. Sweat rags. We both bring just a little cloth, just to...
Something you may or may not want. I like having just it's just this cotton. I got it at Walmart, a washcloth. It's kind of bulky, but it works really well when I'm hot, that I can just, get the sweat out of my face. So I always like having these when I hike. It's kind of up to you.
Okay.
So I got this on Amazon. It was a 5-pack of different size waterproof bags. David was a little unsure if we needed these when I brought these out, and we've
used all of them, and I put my clothes in one, and we have some electronics in another, and
we're kind of using these as packing cubes, which we don't normally like. But when you've got just everything for your day in your bag and you get to the albergue and you're like, I want to get my sleep clothes. It's nice to know, okay, this is the bag where I have all my sleep gear in it. Yeah. And this is the bag with my daily gear. And I've really liked having it. And I like that these are dry bags, because then like his water bottle spilled the other day and kind of got onto his bag, or if it rains or something, then I know at least whatever's in these is not going to get wet. I'm not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Okay. Towel?
Yes.
Okay. These are the towels we have.
And I highly recommend these. These are another one who did I see these on? This might be Days We Spend also, where I heard about these the first time. But they're really good towels to bring. It's Sea to Summit. It's their Airlite towel, and you can see how small it is. And then it pulls out, and it's a fairly large. We got the large size. You can get smaller ones if you want. And it's just a towel to take into the shower with you. Now, I will say this, I don't know if it's a microfiber or what this crazy synthetic material is, but it works really well.
It works well.
It is not luxurious. It does not feel like your, big fluffy towel from home. It kind of slides over you and doesn't feel great when you're using it, but it works. And it sucks up all the water, and then it dries
fast.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've never had problems with this drying within a few hours.
Yeah. So those are really terrific. Definitely recommend those. We've had other towels in the past. We had a linen towel once, and they're all nice. They feel better, but they're just so much more bulky. This is tiny and lightweight. Definitely recommend it. Okay, so this is something you would probably not want to bring, but I do. Well, let me just talk about this. So I'm not going to pull it out, but this is my sleep bag, and I bring a queen size fitted sheet. This is a holdover from my backpacking days. It's weird and I don't care. It's what I like sleeping in. You can get sleep sacks. So David has
an actual sleep sack.
Yeah.
Or a sleeping bag liner, they might
sleeping
call it.
bag liner, yeah.
And this one comes, it has a place where you can tuck the pillow in the top, and then a big open section for your body on the bottom.
Now, it's recommended that you bring something if you're going to be staying in the albergues. We're in a more of a hotel today. We have a private room, so we actually have beds with linen on them. But if you're staying in the dorms, you might get a little paper covering to cover the mattress.
But that's about it.
But then you're kind of expected to bring your own bedding. So some people like to bring sleeping bags. I think that is way too much to bring.
Yeah.
These sleep sacks can
at
be...
least in summer.
Yeah.
I mean, at our time of year. This one, I got one that's pretty wide, and I think that was a good decision because I can roll around at night. There are the mummy type ones, and I'm glad I did not go with that because I think I would have been uncomfortable trying to maneuver at night. So I think this was a good way for me to go.
And it's just up to you what you like. I don't like sleeping in a sack at all. I flail around at night. I like rolling around and being in that sack. I like being able to stick my leg out if I get too hot. So I don't like the sleep sacks at all. I just bring a queen size fitted sheet. I can lay in it, and then I use the elastic to kind of wrap it around me. And then I'm just very mobile and can turn around. I really like that. It's a little bit bulky. You can see how big it is, but it doesn't really weigh anything. So for me, it was worth using this in my bag. Now, the other thing I like having is it's an airline blanket, basically. It's very small. It's fairly lightweight. It's still a little bit bulky, but I really like having it when I get cold at night. I can put this over me. We'll see how this goes over the course of the Camino, but this is what we brought.
And also for sleeping, we bought sleep masks. And these, I don't like sleep masks. I don't like sleeping with them, but they are really helpful. When you're in an albergue, people are turning on and off lights. And it also, if you're here in the summer like we are, it doesn't get dark, and you might want to go to bed earlier than normal.
Yeah, I mean, how time did it get dark last night? Like after 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock. So sleep masks have been great for that. I love that.
Definitely recommend a sleep mask.
Also, people like to bring earplugs, but we have not, and I have not had a problem.
Yeah. We lived in New York for quite a number of years, right on Broadway, across the street from a fire station, a hospital up the street. I can pretty much sleep through any noise, thankfully. We have had a little bit of snoring. Nothing too bad yet in the dorms. We'll see how that goes. So I don't like the earplugs, but a lot of people believe by them, so you might want to bring them.
2 more kind of clothing items. Do not forget sunglasses.
Yes.
You will use them all the time.
Yes.
And we have raincoats or rain tarps that we use. We don't use umbrellas.
Ponchos.
I think umbrellas would be kind of difficult on the Camino.
Yeah, walking
And not very
with an
useful.
umbrella.
So definitely.
Now, knock on wood, wherever we have some. We haven't had any rain yet, just a teeny tiny sprinkling yesterday out of Pamplona.
But we use these ponchos.
Yeah. These are the Anyoo.
Anyoo.
We've talked about these before on this channel. It's very thick. They're a little bit big, but if we have rain, this is going to be great. They're big enough that they can go over the backpack in the back. Probably we'd have to take the poles out.
Yeah. Actually, I was looking at you in your backpack the other day with the poles. I think this could go over the poles. So I think it would still work.
Chances are it's going to rain at some point, and again, at the end, we'll let you know how that works.
Okay.
But I really like these ponchos.
Now we're kind of getting into other stuff.
Okay, well, let's talk about some toiletries.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things you're probably going to want to bring. One thing we brought is this Gold Bond
Body Glide.
Body Glide, basically. We just put it on our feet just to kind of help prevent blisters. This is one of the things we used when we hiked rim to rim on the Grand Canyon that worked, so we just brought it along here. It's always hard to tell what works and what is not doing anything, but you just keep doing it because it worked the first time.
I mean, and you can chafe under your arms or between your legs or anywhere, and this would really help relieve that or prevent that.
A lot of people believe in Vaseline and they just bring tubs of Vaseline. I think this is a little bit cleaner than that. Personal preference.
It's not as goopy.
Yeah.
It's pretty
or oily.
Yeah.
But something like this you're probably going to want to bring.
Lip balm. I recommend bringing a lip balm with you just in case.
I've talked about this before on this channel, but I like these Pepto Bismol chewable tablets. These are hard to find outside of the United States again, so I always bring some. I haven't used any yet, but I've got them if I need them.
Ibuprofen.
You have to bring ibuprofen. Like, you can get ibuprofen here, like, it's not a big deal, but when you want ibuprofen, you want it right then. So we just brought a thing. We've got plenty. They call it hiker's candy. We've already used quite a bit. Bring some ibuprofen. Now, one thing we've been having is allergies.
I've always had allergies. Rob hasn't always had allergies, but this part of the world seems to be causing both of us to really experience allergies.
It's sort of the high mountain towns where I tend to get allergies, and boy, is it hitting me hard here. So I've been very happy.
I've brought quite a bit, actually. I brought tablets that I take once a day.
What is this?
It's
loratadine. So just over the counter. I think we got this at Costco or something.
Also, a nasal spray I use. I get so affected here, it really hurts my eyes, so I bought an allergy medicated eye drop to prevent that. Also, I have other eye drops that I can use daily just to keep my eyes from drying out.
Yeah, and that medicated eye drop, we just went to a pharmacy here, and this was in St. John Pedaport, so she didn't speak English, but I just put it in my translator. I'm like, allergy eye drops, and she's like, oh yeah, right here.
Yeah.
So it was very easy. We do have some blister stuff with us. We haven't used too much of it yet. I do have a blister, and so we're trying to figure that out. It's a weird one. But we've got, like, some of these tapes and stuff so you can tape over affected areas. We do have some of these Compeed dressings. It's very interesting, the Compeed, like, the people on the Camino are 50-50. Like, some people swear by it and other people think it is the devil. I tried it on the blister that I have currently, and it did not work at all. It was not helpful. It just kind of put more pressure on it. So I'm sure we will talk more about blisters as we go, as we kind of see what works. I'm very prone to blisters, so we just brought a bunch of stuff so I would have some options.
We have a little kit that has fingernail clippers, toenail clippers, and tweezers. Always useful. It's great to keep your toenails trimmed so that you don't
Yes.
ruin your socks. You're doing a lot of walking and you don't want your nails to cause problems.
This is probably a little bit overkill as far as bulk and weight. I don't think we need the tweezers. This is just usually what we normally have on our regular travels. So
Although
we just
I've
brought it
used the
with us.
tweezers to fix your socks. So we've
the-
used them.
The Compeed that I used like worked its way into my nice merino wool sock.
And I had to pick the glue out of his sock.
Take it out. So I guess it did come in handy.
Toilet paper.
Okay, so this is kind of one of those emergency things that we brought just in case. Knock on wood, we haven't had to use it. I hope we don't need to.
I don't think.
But you're walking all day, and especially if you get sick or something, you might need to go to the bathroom. So we did bring some toilet paper. I grabbed a handful of these from my brother's house.
Good.
There's just little doggy bags. Because you definitely, one of those etiquette things, if you're on the Camino, what you hike in, you hike out with. You do not want to go leave, toilet paper and stuff behind in a field somewhere. So we just brought stuff. I hope we don't need it, but if we do, we've got it there so we can pack stuff out and just keep things clean.
Okay, it's this tiny little glasses case, and I have used it as a sewing kit. So I brought needle, little scissors, safety pins, button in case we lose a button, some thread, and super glue. And that is my sewing kit. I have already used the super glue to repair my sunglasses, and I'm sure I'll have to sew something along the way because that's the way things go. Yeah.
Again, this is something we just have with us on our normal travels, but it comes in useful in the most unusual times.
Candy.
No, we're getting kind of random here. Just having some hard candy is nice. We carry a bunch with us.
We carry a bunch in case you get a cough or something.
Yeah, just throw that in your mouth.
We bought these. These are, what are they called? Like the baby safety pins?
Yeah. We got these because we heard that when you're drying your clothes in the albergues, sometimes the albergues will have, clothespins and sometimes they won't.
Just little things we have. A pen. You never know when you need a pen. A Sharpie. This is helpful if you want to put things in a refrigerator and mark your items, or who knows what. You can always use a Sharpie.
Do we want to talk? Oh, here, I'll mention this. So we did both bring a little fanny pack bag. Sometimes I'll wear it as a sling. Sometimes I'll just stuff it in my bag. What I have been using this for is my passport, or if I have any cash, just sort of those valuables so that I can keep this with me all the time. Where if I wanted to go to the shower and I just wanted to make sure I kept my valuables with us.
I do use mine when I'm walking around town.
And
with,
so you don't
with
have
my
to have
money,
the whole
and
bag,
I'll carry bags in it and stuff.
The one I got is very small, so I can't really fit anything else in it. Yours is a little bit bigger,
I don't know where it is.
and perhaps more useful that way. But it does keep all that stuff together, so I don't have to look for it.
Okay, this is another item we carry with us. It is a plastic knife and two spork things. Fork, spoon, and we actually have used these too. And I think we will use these quite a bit.
Yeah, a lot of the albergues that we're staying in, they have silverware, but sometimes it's just nice to have your own stuff, or if you're eating out on the trail. We've cobbled these together from different sets that we've used over the years, but they are on Amazon. We'll put links below.
A pair of scissors. And we have used this to cut the tape that we use to put on our feet. I've taken tags off of things that we've bought, so it's been useful. I'm glad we have these with us.
We bought those here because we needed, you'd have to put that in a checked bag, and I didn't want to check a bag when we flew here. But
okay. We have two of these. These are plastic reusable grocery bags, and when we go shopping, we bring one of these with us.
We talk about these all the time. We use them a lot, and so I definitely think this is something you might want to look at. We got them on Amazon. I'll put the link below. They're cheap, lightweight, don't take up any space, and very versatile.
I am a pen and paper type of person. I would rather take notes on a notepad than in my phone. It's just, I just don't type very well. So this is easier for me, and I use it all the time. I have this in my pocket with me, and I'm always taking notes, and
Lots of bird lists.
Also, I make lists of birds, so pencil and paper.
Let's talk about some electronics. So we do bring, if you're coming from the United States, you're going to need some kind of adapter to be able to plug anything in. There's lots of options out there. We have a set that we got from Septics. I've talked about them before, and it just plugs into the wall, and then you plug in your stuff on the other side. I like this a lot because we got the set that we bought has stuff from multiple countries, but we just took this one with us since we're only in France and Spain. We just need the European adapter, and it works really well, lightweight, small. And into that, we plug in a little extension cord. I like having an extension cord. We used to have a different one that worked pretty good. We talked about it on the channel before, but another viewer suggested this one, and I decided to give it a shot. It's from Anchor, and it's just built a little bit nicer. It does have a port for USB-C, which is what I use a lot. It's a 65-watt adapter, so it can quick charge like a laptop or your phone pretty well. So I like it for that reason. It does unplug here. Let me show you how this works because it's kind of weird, but it's got this plastic thing that uncovers the cord, and then you can unwrap the cord, and so it gives you, I think that's like 3 feet, where it gives you a little bit of distance, you know, if the cord's not right next to your bed, so you can plug in your phone. I really like that, and then it just wraps back up. It does seem much more sturdy than our last one that we had, so I'm really liking this so far, and it's worked really well for us. I'll put a link below.
Yeah. I am carrying some laundry detergent. Just a little bit so that I can use it when I need it.
We're kind of old school on this. People talk about the fancy little sheets and everything that they bring, or they'll get an all-in-one soap they can use for this and to wash their hair. We just do this because we're lazy and it works for us.
And we had some laundry detergent, so
Yeah.
I thought, well, why not bring it? I also, I'll show these. I have a foldable pair. Anyone who needs reading glasses, this is my extra pair in case something happens to the pair I prefer to use. These ones fold up into just a little teeny bite size, and I can throw these anywhere, and then I have an extra pair in case my other pair breaks. You know how much I love birding. This was one thing I debated over. Do I want the weight of these binoculars with me on this Camino? And in the end, I decided yes, and I'm glad I did. I am loving having these because birding is a passion of mine, and so you will find there are things you just care about and you just want with you, and this was one of those items for me.
And we've been using it every day, or he's been using it.
But one other thing I thought that we brought is we have some Ziploc bags, which are useful for anything if you want
Those
to.
are the best thing.
If you buy some food and you need to store the extra or anything, so those Ziploc bags have been really helpful.
Yes.
So far.
The last thing I think I've got here to mention is hiking poles. We've got this pair. We each have a pair. They're different because we bought them in different places because we were kind of going back and forth on whether we wanted them or if we just wanted to share and each use one pole. We ended up
I will say
having
we
to...
both bought pretty cheap pairs.
Yes.
This set was 25 euros. Mine was 20 euros.
Yeah.
And so we didn't spend a lot on them because you can spend a lot on poles, and we didn't think that was necessary.
Yeah. It's really going to depend on you and what kind of poles you like, if you're used to them or not. I will say most people out on the trail seem to have a pair. For me, I don't find that they're very useful if I'm walking flat, or even if I'm walking uphill, they just don't help me. But on the steep downhill parts, they are a knee saver. They save my knees on those downhill sections, which I think would take me a lot longer to navigate without them, plus just be a little more precarious. So I really like having them. I'm glad I have them. but honestly, they're in my pack most of the day.
And I like them on the hills because I use my arms to help my legs out as I go up. So
just an aside, if you're going to bring poles, look up a video on how to use them. I think most people are using them incorrectly. There is a technique to them, and they will help you much better if you know how to use them. So if you're going to bring them, look up a video on it.
well, our bags, so what we're carrying, and we have some electronics with us that you probably won't use if you're just hiking. We use it for our videos.
Yeah, so we had to bring our computers. Don't bring computers if you don't need them.
It's just a lot of weight. Just a lot of weight. But we have that, and so our bags each are about 20 pounds each.
Just a little over 20 pounds.
Which are on the high side of, I think, what most people bring.
Although we're seeing a lot of big bags that are way bigger than ours.
But the thing is, I'm not unhappy with the weight I have.
Yeah.
It would be possibly easier if I had a lighter weight.
Oh, I think it would definitely be easier.
But I'm not having a hard time either.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have the things I have. And that's the thing. Bring what you want to bring. People are always talking about 10% of your body weight, which really doesn't make sense because all bodies are different.
Yeah.
Like it's just a random number. Bring what you can carry and what you want to carry.
Yeah. You can always get rid of stuff along the way. You can always buy new stuff along the way within reason. But you just got to practice. Practice at home carrying that pack so you know how heavy it's going to be. And then do the best
There's
you
no
can.
wrong weight.
Yeah.
If the weight works for you.
Yeah. If you can carry it, then who cares if it's 50 pounds? If it's okay for you, you just want to make sure that it's something you can deal with. Now, you can also send bags ahead every day. We have seen people who are doing that. They are hiking with just a teeny tiny little day pack with, you know, their water and some snacks in it. And so that is an option. It's about, I think it's about €7 a day is what I've been seeing to send them ahead every day. There are some obstacles with that. You have to know where you're staying. You have to pay ahead. It's just a little bit more expensive. There's that risk that we have heard people where it got sent to the wrong hostel and they kind of had to run around and find their bag. But if that doesn't bother you, then that might be a good option. We're going ahead and just trying to carry things every day. I kind of want to send our bags ahead one day just to experiment and see what it is. I was going to do it today, and then I realized I don't have a day bag. So if we send our packs ahead, then we don't have anything to carry our water and snacks in. So we're going to have to figure that out if we want to play with it. But you do have that option. But if you want to just carry your bag, just make sure it's a weight you can deal with. So that's our packing video. I hope you found it helpful. I will put some of those Amazon links in the description below the video if you wanted to take a look at anything. But I'm curious to hear from you about what kind of things you're bringing or planning on bringing that maybe we didn't bring. Drop us a note below in the comments and let us know. Buen Camino.
Today and not tomorrow.